Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well. It's your main man Anil coming live once again for Inner Line Fitness Podcast. And in episode 15 of 2026, I'm going to be going through how you can transform from the underdog to the hero of your own story. So, guys, let's go right into it. Young and grown men, I'm sure by now you've experienced a lot of pain in your life and in your journey when it comes to weight loss and other situations that you've been through, which may be connected to not losing the weight. I know right now you might feel that you're not enough. I understand how that feels. Right now, you might feel like an underdog. You might feel like you've been written off by plenty of people. You might feel like you're not going to make it. And you might feel like you've hit this wall so many times and you're just meant for more, but you just don't know how. What I want to tell you guys is that I've been through this myself. I understand what it feels like to be written off, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm now going to go through all the steps that you need in order to transform from the underdog to the hero of your own story. So let's go right into it. Number one, I want you to take that resiliency and that hunger that comes from being an underdog. You see, one of the main strengths of being an underdog is that when people have written you off, you have that hunger, you have that desire for more, and you have that willingness to go after it. You see, that's one of the biggest things about an underdog. In a boxing match, the underdog always has that energy to go after the champion. And that's what you're doing right now. You're going after it. You're taking that hunger, you're taking that drive that you have, and that as a strength to say, right, I know I'm meant for more. You're not going to deny me. You're not going to shut me down. Forget about that. F that. I'm going to take that with me and use that as a strength. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to outdo you. And one day I will catch up to you and I will be ahead of you. And that's what you need to take, first of all, as a strength, that hunger and that drive and that resilience. Number two, you've got to understand your journey up until now. At the end of the day, the hero's journey is understanding the trauma that got them to this point, and then from that point, they can then say, right, I've reclaimed my story. I understand my trauma. I understand why I'm the way I am, why I behave the way I do, and why I don't feel enough. So, young and grown men, I really want you to understand what has been the painful situations in your life connected to weight loss, connected to how you feel overall as a person. You don't have to share it right here in the comments, but I want you to really understand what is the trauma that you've gone through up until now on your journey? What has led you to this point where you keep hitting a wall and you know you're meant for more, but it's clearly that trauma that you haven't addressed? And I want you to think about what you would stand to lose if you don't address this, what this has already cost you up until now. What has this cost you in terms of your journey as a person? What has this cost you in terms of your development as a person? What has this cost you in terms of your character and your resiliency? Number three, we turn the weaknesses into strengths. Being overweight, you understand a lot of things about yourself. You understand discipline, timing, nutrition, as well as, showing up and fulfilling your promises and doing what you say you're going to do. A lot of those things start to come up as weaknesses and areas that you can improve. But what you do on this hero's journey is you turn those weaknesses into strengths. So steadily, steadily, every single week you start getting better at showing up on time, you start getting better at being disciplined, you start getting better at following the right nutrition, you start getting better about showing up to the gym when you don't want to, and you actually get better in other areas of your life where you do things that you clearly don't want to do, but you do them anyway because you're fulfilling your promise to yourself and you're following through on your word. When you follow through on your word, whatever you manifest and speak out there of what you want, you actually accomplish. That's what happens when you're a man of your word. Turning those weaknesses into strengths steadily over time is what's going to help you to lose that weight. It's going to help you to get mentally strong. And don't worry about all the things that you've gone through up until now. You may have tried and failed, but a lot of those things now work as lessons. So the next time you're in that situation where you're just about to make that wrong decision, you can remember, I made that mistake 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 100 times, but I learned from that now, and I'm not going to do that. That slow plugging of the gaps of all of those mistakes that you previously made under no discipline, under being overweight and not believing in yourself, you won't make those now as you start to plug those weaknesses and work on your strengths, training every week and working with me at Inner Line Fitness. And then beyond that, what you've got to understand is that there are people here to support you. There are grown men just like myself who are here to support you, who've been through this journey before. You see, as a young man, I understand what it feels like to not have the role models, not have people encourage me, have people write me off from the beginning. But having gone through this myself and having gone through this painful journey, I'm here to help young and grown men to become the hero of their own story. At 305 pounds, I did not believe I was the hero of my own story. I believed I was always going to be an underdog. But I carried that underdog mentality with me once I got to 170 pounds, and it didn't get me anywhere. It didn't get me any respect in the boardrooms. It didn't get me any kind of respect from the women, and it certainly didn't get me any kind of respect from my friends, and it didn't get me that kind of confidence that I needed. But confidence is within. Good confidence can come from within, and it comes from believing in yourself. It comes from the truth of self belief. It doesn't come from ego and arrogance. It comes from knowing what your story was, reclaiming it, and becoming better on the other side of it, and knowing you're enough whenever you step into any arena. That's what it comes from. That's ultimately what it comes from. I'm here to tell you that there are grown men just like myself who are here to support young and other grown men who've been through this journey, who've been through absolute hell, who don't believe in themselves and still think of themselves as an underdog. What I can tell you right now is that anyone who subconsciously thinks of themselves still as an underdog does not believe that they can win. It doesn't mean to say we don't start out that way. What it ultimately means is we always end up back there if we believe we're an underdog. We've got to believe we're the hero of the story. And now to transform to the hero of your own story, you've got to see that journey. Initially, you went through that pain and you were the underdog at that moment in time. But becoming the hero, you see how you overcame that pain and how you became better from it. Now, if you look at the difference between a before and after photo, what you got to understand are there's not just differences in the physical, there's difference in the mental. When I look at the photo of myself at 305 pounds, I see somebody who's dejected, deflated, sad, and depressed. When I see the picture of myself now at 175 pounds, I see myself confident, secure within myself, strong, resilient, determined, ambitious to go after everything, and not seeing failure as a reason to stop. A lot of the time, we see failure as a reason to stop and we don't try again. But that's something that we get better at once we become the hero. We actually accomplish everything we go after. So, this journey is about mental and physical toughness, but it's also about changing and transforming yourself. So, when you walk into any room, you know you are the hero of your own story. You know you are the champion, and it no longer becomes a push, it becomes a pull, and you become exactly who you want to be. Guys, if you're ready to transform from the underdog to the hero of your own story with mindset, wellness, and fitness practices, DM me at Inner Line Fitness on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Drop a comment here. As I'd say, everybody, channel your inner Rocky, DM me Lion. Let's go.